to Module 2, being mindful around the home. So when we're bringing mindfulness into our home life, again, what we're going to be focusing on, because mindfulness doesn't always resonate with all of us, we're going to be focusing on being present. And so there's a number of things that we can do just around our house, things that we're already doing, but bringing presence to them. And I'm going to give you some examples just so that you can get your brain going, but obviously applying these principles to anything that you do at home in your life is going to be exactly where we're headed. So let's go ahead and get started. How do you wake up? What are your first thoughts when you wake up for the day? This morning, I had a first thought of, oh my gosh, I have X, Y, and Z to do. And I almost had a feeling of, I just want to stay in bed. Maybe I should just snooze the alarm. I don't really want to get to X, Y, and Z. I just want to sleep for a long time and just not wake up right now. And a lot of times we're waking up and our brains are absolutely primed to go to the most negative thing, the most urgent or negative or both thing in our life. And that's an evolutionary thing. That's what's made humans survive for the last over 10,000 years, but we've had our brains for at least 10,000 years, for about 10,000 years. And so we've been using these brains to survive and stay away from danger. And so they have a propensity to go straight to the negative, which that's not bad. It's just not helpful when you're trying to draw yourself out of bed for the day. So it's super normal, absolutely normal for our brains to immediately go to the negative first. Having something that's positive to counter that, to get out of bed for, is a really great way of introducing presence and mindfulness into getting out of bed. Because when we're being present and mindful, we're not thinking about all of those things that we have to do today that we don't really want to do, and then we spiral out of control. We're not thinking about that. When we're being present and mindful, we're thinking about this moment. So having a moment of taking some deep breaths, that Take 5 exercise that I did that I showed you in the previous module, that's a really great one to also do when you wake up. Or you can just do it, you can just breathe in bed, relax laying there, and take some deep breaths. It's also really helpful to change the sound that you're going to be waking up to. So wake up to a sound that you enjoy. Personally, I have a little fitness watch thing and it vibrates to wake me up. And I actually prefer that to any sound. But you could have music. You could have something that brings you a little bit of joy and enables you to feel that moment and not all the moments that you're going to have for the day. Because you will get to those moments. You will. And you're prepared for them. Ruminating and stressing in bed does not prepare you more for the day. And that's what we think. We think when we're thinking about things, when we're worrying about them, when we're thinking ahead. No, you're already prepared for them. You already have all the resources to deal with everything that's coming in the day. Give yourself this moment to wake up and acknowledge that this is another day in your life. And this day deserves a little bit of credit. This morning deserves some credit. So we're waking up, we're taking a couple deep breaths. Personally, for me, when I woke up this morning feeling like I was having too many thoughts about the future and I kind of just wanted to pull the covers back up, I thought about my reason for getting out of bed, which is to go on a walk and see the sunrise. I love sunrises. Beautiful things, beautiful experiences. It's a huge value in my life. It's something that I didn't realize, but when I worked in medicine, sometimes I would be late for my shift by a couple minutes because I would be outside taking a picture of a butterfly that I saw. And at first, years ago when that would be happening, I would think I can't tell people that this is actually what I'm doing. This is ridiculous. I'm a grown adult who needs to take a picture of a butterfly. And then when I got more in tune with my values, I realized that's also why a trip to the mountains makes me feel more alive. A trip to the mountains can make me feel completely restored, whereas a trip to a city doesn't. I can enjoy things in the city, but I come back feeling pretty drained. Whereas a trip to the mountains or somewhere peaceful and beautiful and natural, that fuels me. And everyone's different, but knowing that that value of mine, the excellence, the beauty, that beauty and excellence is actually what the value is called, but that appreciation of beauty gets me out of bed so that I can walk to the greenway in our neighborhood and see the sunrise, and then go on a we do a walkabout, and there's a little river, and sometimes there's deer, and it's trees and it's nature. And that shifting my mind to, I am prioritizing this moment of presence so that I can get out of bed and feel prepared for my day. That helps. So it's also incredibly helpful to have to start your day with positive outlook and intention. That doesn't necessarily mean toxic positivity. It just means looking at your day and thinking, why do I do the things I do? How can I bring in, what value do I have? What values do I have that are reflected in my work? How can I bring more presence to each of those values? How can I bring those values into those moments at work? And so thinking about having a positive outlook going forward in the morning and practicing that positive outlook, because when we practice having a positive mindset, it becomes more natural. And even though the negative mindset is still there, because evolutionarily we want to stay safe, it doesn't always scream louder. The other thing is, when we only have a negative mindset and we never practice looking at our life and work and processing positivity, when we don't practice that, all we see is the negative. And your mind will be biased towards filtering out the good. It'll get rid of anything good and only see the negative. You won't see people sharing solutions on the internet. You'll only see them sharing problems. You won't see what people are doing that's good in the world. You'll only see what people are doing that's bad. So having an outlook in the morning where you are able to connect with why you do the work you do. Who are you? What do you want to bring to this day? And how can you frame that in a positive way? Asking yourself, what matters most today? Right now, if I take myself out perspective-wise, what matters most? So that when I'm in those moments, when I'm going into a meeting and I'm kind of rolling my eyes and I'm frustrated, I can reflect on why I do what I do and what I want to bring to today. Because we get tied up in these moments that even a week later, we won't remember. So you want to try to bring presence to those moments so that you're able to tap into the values that you have and bring those and bring the intention so that you're constantly making decisions that pull you forward rather than feeling stuck or crushed in moments that are just dragging you through the day. Take a moment to say goodbye to everyone in the morning. This is something that is a really easy way to be present, and we don't usually apply it. Every day, if you have people in your household or pets that you say goodbye to, if you do leave the home or if they leave the home, or even if you both work at home, but you have to get to work on your computers and you're around each other, but you're not fully around each other. You're not present and working with each other or talking to each other. Say goodbye and be there for it. Notice them. Be present with that person. If you give them a hug, feel that hug. How does it feel to have their arms wrapped around you? Take a deep breath. Say goodbye in a way, and even wave goodbye, when you're leaving. Be present in that goodbye, because so often we say goodbye, yeah, bye, bye, when we're headed out the door. And we take those moments for granted. That's a really easy way to take a moment, take a breath, and appreciate the people in your life. Say goodbye to your children, even if they're like trying to rush out the door and they don't want to. You don't want every single morning to be just another morning where we're pushing everybody off to a bus and everybody's rushing around. And it doesn't take much time. We're not doing a whole goodbye ceremony. We don't have to take more time out of our day. The same amount of time that we're waving goodbye, but half-mindedly waving goodbye, we can be saying goodbye with a full mind in that moment. And that alone is bringing presence and mindfulness to that moment. When you're doing household tasks, this is one that I tapped into when I couldn't sit still for a meditation, and I didn't want to sit still for the meditation, and I wanted to see if I could apply a meditative approach to doing. It was actually, I was washing the shower, I was cleaning the shower, the tile in the shower, my latex gloves on and everything, and I put a meditative like music podcast on, and I was thinking like maybe I can approach this. And turns out, as long as you're bringing yourself to the present, you can actually make those moments less, those tasks less drudgerous. You're not necessarily dragging yourself through them all the time. So when I was scrubbing the tile in the shower, what is the texture of the tile? What does the brush or the sponge feel like when it's going over the tile? What color is it? Is it variegated? Is it different colors? What color is the grout? Is that what you're working on? Does the grout get kind of gray and gritty? No judgment. No, I should have done this. No, just noticing the color of things, the texture of things, being in that moment, not thinking about the 13 or 14 things you have left on your list, not thinking about everything that you wish you had done today, but being in this moment and meditating, almost being mindful about cleaning shower tile, which can sound ridiculous, but when you're actually doing it, it becomes a moment of peace where you are alone and you are just thinking about the present, and you are able to clear your mind a little bit and at least not hyper focus on the future or the past. Because a lot of times when we're focused on the future, focus on what we need to do, focus, we get to the end of the day and we're like, I don't remember the day. I don't feel like I've done enough. I don't even know what I've done. So the other part of this is giving yourself those mindful moments will ensure that you remember what you did today and that you're able to give yourself credit for what you've done rather than rushing through the day and only seeing more things to do tomorrow. We deserve credit for every moment that we are in this day, everything that we're doing in this day. We need to give ourselves credit for that. That's the only way our brain gets motivation to move forward and do other tasks. Another good thing to keep in mind is transitioning in the evening. The same way we go into the day feeling rushed and chaotic, we can leave the day feeling kind of dejected and overwhelmed. So having a routine that you enjoy, some music that you enjoy, or a certain snack. I love having some dessert and tea. The dessert changes all the time, but it's always dessert and tea. And having that moment where I enjoy it and eat that snack mindfully. Because that's another thing. We rush through food and we look, it's gone. I just ate an entire bag of popcorn and I'm not sure how. That's eating mindlessly. And eating is another thing that we do every day, hopefully. And we just rush through it. So if you're able to stop yourself and mindfully eat, what does it taste like? Using all of your senses, because using our senses brings us to the present. So what does it taste like? What does it look like? Smell it. What does it smell like? Is it popcorn? Is it a watermelon ice popsicle? That's what I'm doing currently, watermelon ice popsicles. They don't really have a smell, but they're pink. What does it taste like? Is it cold? Is it hot? Room temperature? Is it delicious? Do you wish you had chosen something else? That's judgmental thought. We're not going to do that. But those kind of ideas where you're in the moment that you are eating something and you're saying, I'm glad I chose this snack. I am enjoying this moment. I'm present for this moment. Not, oh man, another snack. I didn't realize I was eating that. Now it's over. Same thing as washing your hair in the shower that I mentioned in the last module. Did I wash my hair? Am I in the shower? Have I been present here for 5 or 10 minutes? I don't know how long it's been. Bringing your mind to the present and using your senses to get in touch with what's around you. Having a little routine for bed, something that can, again, the same way, it takes you out of the day the way you came into the day, where no matter what happened that day, you can reflect and say, today was another day and I did a good job. And tomorrow I'll do a good job. Maybe it'll be a better job, but today I did a good job. And reflecting on that and doing something that brings you a little bit of peace. I'm excited to go into how you can bring mindfulness into your work. And I hope that you're able to find little moments at home that you can be a little bit more present for, because that's what we're looking for, that reset of presence and not the setting aside of a very meditative ceremonial thing that we have to do. Just a little bit more intention. That's what we're aiming for.